Every morning, I leave the house with just enough money in my pocket. Sakto lang for my commute. But lately, that sakto isn't even enough anymore. I find myself counting coins, thinking twice before riding, even choosing longer routes just to save a few pesos. Kasi 'di ba, every peso matters. And as a student commuter, getting to school used to be a routine, but now it feels like a challenge. And it made me realize this isn't just my story. This is the reality of the fuel crisis. Good day, everyone, and welcome to Trail Voices, where we talk about real student life, real struggles, and real conversations that we relate to. I am Lian Pazilio, your host for this show. And today's episode will tackle more on more expensive rides, same budget, how do students survive rising fuel costs today? Because let's be honest, our allowance is just the same. Pero murag kada lingi nato sa pamasahe, ni saka. And this isn't just a simple student problem. It's actually connected to global fuel systems, international conflicts, oil production, and economic decisions happening far from us. But we feel it directly here. So today, we'll break it down. What's happening globally? Why is it heavier in the Philippines? And how students are actually coping day to day. And of course, I am not here alone. I am here today with... Hello guys! Welcome to Trail Voices. So before anything else, can everyone introduce themselves and kumusta man mo lately? How's it going?
Okay, so hi mga ka-Trail Voices. My name is Elijah, and I am feeling both fine and stressed because, as you all know, the oil prices have increased drastically, like almost 100%. And as commuters, it has directly impacted how I manage my budget and how I go through my daily life. And that's all for me.
So hello mga ka-Trail Voices, my name is Judy, and yeah, same as Elijah, I've been feeling so stressed lately, stressed, and my wallet is also stressed with all the increasing prices because of course everything is connected. When fuel prices goes up, the prices of other necessities also increase. Yeah.
So, hi mga ka-Trail Voices. So, I am Leo Binibisala, and I am good, and I stress because akong baon kakahurot ng
Relatable ka.
kamahal siya. That's all.
Yeah.
So, hi guys, I am Sophia, and same with you guys, I am busy surviving this crisis.
Right, so one word, two words I have heard, commonly is stressed, surviving. So I think we're all, almost all of us are in survival mode, right?
Yes.
So even just from this, we can already see that this problem or like transport is not just convenient anymore. It's definitely a daily decision. So before we talk about students, let's zoom out first. So, does anyone here have any idea why the price of fuel is increasing? So,
Wait, I think I can answer your question.
thank you.
Okay, to give everyone a background, one of the biggest reasons is the recent tension between the US and Iran this year 2026 that is still ongoing as of now. So, what is the connection of Iran? Iran is near the Strait of Hormuz. Pero what is a strait? A strait is a naturally formed, narrow waterway that connects two larger bodies of water. Typically, ato ang mga dagat or atong oceans. Now, the Strait of Hormuz is where around 20% of global oil passes through. So, to give you a vision, it's like 1 out of 5 oil barrels is gaagi siya diri sa Strait of Hormuz. So, if there is a conflict or even just threat of conflict, oil prices almost immediately reacts. Moreover, even if nothing fully stops, there's also what we call OPEC Plus, or the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries Plus. Two of the members of this is Saudi Arabia and Russia, which are two of the major oil producing countries in the world. So what OPEC Plus basically do is that they decide how much oil they release into the global market each month. So if they reduce production, there's less oil supply available worldwide. So going back sa atong lesson sa junior high school, when supply goes down but demand remains the same or increases, naturally the price of the product go up. So the OPEC does this to stabilize the market or keep prices favorable for producing countries. But the effect still remains the same: higher fuel prices globally. And last but not the least, after the COVID-19 pandemic, people started traveling again. So going back to pandemic, no, like around what year did it end again? 2021?
Yeah.
Like that around that time. So around that time, people started traveling more, or like they traveled again. So naturally, the demand increased, but supply didn't catch up fast enough. Thus, its contribution to price increase as well.
Oh, that is such an insight, Elijah. Thank you so much. So I guess everyone here is enlightened. No. Yes. So basically, there are factors that contribute to this. So we have geopolitical tension, U.S. and Iran. So another one is oil production decisions, and of course, post-COVID demand increase. So it's not just the tension alone, there are a lot of factors. So all of these combined affect fuel prices that we experience now, the crisis. So here's the interesting part. Same global issue, but there is a different impact per country. So why? Why is this happening right now?
I think I can also give some insight regarding that. And actually, I have two countries in mind. Actually, the other one is not a country, it's a continent. First is a country, it is the United States of America. They experience this oil price increase differently. Because in the US, they produce their own oil. So they have some control over their supply. So like events such as these currently, like there is a oil price increase because of those mentioned factors earlier. They have some sort of control because they are producing their own oil. They are not just importing oil. And another is in the continent of Europe, like the UK, Italy, and more. Some government institution there give subsidies or lower their taxes when fuel gets expensive. So citizens don't feel the full impact. So like basically the government is like having like this cushion or a safety net for the citizens so that they won't feel the blow almost immediately. So yeah, I think that is all for me.
Okay, but I also wanted to add that in developing countries, less support means global price increases are felt directly.
Oh, so if like in the European countries they have cushions, so do developing countries have rocks? So they feel it
Yeah.
Yeah.
immediately. So it's a bit hard, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is.
So it's not just about the fuel price itself, no. It's about how protected people are. So it's a bit hard that it doesn't really depend on us, but sometimes it's on the higher ups, you know.
Yes.
So let's focus on us. So let's zoom in a little bit. So why is it more intense in the Philippines?
So I think I can answer that question.
Mhm.
So, why is it more intense in the Philippines? Probably because for a reason, here in our country imports more than 90% of its people,
90.
Yeah. making us highly dependent on global oil prices. So when global oil prices increases, let's say due to wars or like supply shortages or higher demand, the Philippines is directly affected. Yeah. Since fuel prices are also deregulated under the Republic Act number 8479, oil companies are allowed to adjust their prices regularly. Pero depending on sa kanang movements in the international market. This is why we often see weekly fuel price changes. Di ba makitaan man na nato or like madugan nato sa mga news outlets like radios, mga nana. Also, unlike some countries that provide strong fuel subsidies to lessen the burden of their citizens, here in the Philippines, we have limited financial support
Yes.
for fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a result, any increase in oil prices is quickly felt by us commuters, by us students through higher transportation fares and like through increased travel expenses. And also, di ba consumers man sad ta, we also feel it through rising prices of goods and like services. Because of course, as I've said earlier, everything is connected. When the fuel prices go up, the other necessities also increase.
Yeah, like I have also noticed, no, in the USTP canteen, there is this one bake shop that I'm sure that everybody has heard of that or like at least bought at least once.
Yeah.
And just recently I have checked their prices and I was shocked to see that there is like almost on all their goods there's like a two peso increase. And like considering the time, it's like a very sudden increase. And like when I looked into that price, like I hesitated for a moment if I will buy or not. So I think that testifies Judy's point that when the oil prices goes up, other necessities or goods are also their price is also affected.
Yeah.
I can relate to that because I think a day ago I was planning to buy snacks at the bakery because I didn't have lunch.
Yes.
And I can see that the lunch in the STP is a bit not fit in my the money I had left. But when I saw that the prices increased, I was like, okay, never mind. I will just eat at home. So I guess you can relate to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, let us go back to your point, Judy, that other countries may have protection or local supply or they have their cushion, but here compared in the Philippines, we are definitely dependent with the imports. And of course, the prices here changes very fast, and of course, limited subsidies. So compared to the cushion, we kind of have the ground, the rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it feels heavier here. Very bugat no.
Yeah.
So, of course, how does this global issue reach us? No, paano kaya?
So, no, global fuels increase. So, nagtaas siya kaayo ba? So, kaya na itong niaging month, kaya kiabot siya kuan 150 plus ata.
Oh,
So,
Perfect 100%
wala,
increase.
nakalantaw mo. sa atong news, atong
I have seen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
ano, difficult na.
no, local fuel increases. When prices drop, they often still to sell the expensive batch they bought earlier. So, ano siya? So, taas siya gayo. So, transport operators adjust fares when global oil prices rise. Local fuel becomes expensive, forcing transport operator increases fares to survive. So, kailangan nila mag-increase og mga 2 or more to 5 pesos manata to
I
to
also-
survive sila.
I also noticed that when I'm commuting, there's a signage inside the jeep that requires the passengers to pay an extra fare.
Right.
Yeah, because I think there has been no like government what you call this?
Issue or something?
Yeah, there's no order or issue stating that the jeepney or like the public utility vehicle drivers in general to increase their fare. Like I was like 1 week ago, I was in Ormoc City to attend the 2026 NSPC, and like thank you for that. And there are no jeepneys there, but what is dominant there were these tricycles, and we have like asked the drivers there if their government or their city mayor have issued an order for them to increase their what you call this, their fare. And I think we have asked 3 or 4 drivers, and they all said no. And like that gave me an idea that it is not just felt here in Cagayan de Oro City, but like in all parts of the Philippines as well.
Yeah.
That's very...
So, yeah. So, kailangan na natin na mag-add or mga 20 plus ata. Kailangan natin kasi to support
Yeah.
our pang pliti like inanabitaw.
Yes.
So,
Allowance.
if fuel prices rise and fares go up, students are hit hard because their daily allowance kay mugamay. So kailangan nila mag-add. Oh, that way I said ng pinakauna 20 pesos. So kailangan nila. Pero kailangan dapat nato may magtipid lang yapon.
Yes.
Agree.
Because sometimes even if the prices in goods increase, sometimes our allowance stays the same, right?
Yes.
So a bit difficult for us, and especially our providers, guardians, parents.
Yes.
So let's understand. So of course there is a mismatch. The cost goes up, but the budget stays fixed.
So now let's bring this closer, guys. Sa atong situation, since we are one of the few who still have classes compared to other schools like Liceo,
Yeah.
Lourdes, and Mogs.
Like we're ending in May 30th, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And at USTP, we senior high school students now have shifted to online classes every Monday and Fridays, diba?
Yes.
And that is to reduce commuting costs, especially for students who live far, since many of us complain about the fare. Nanay sa ito nagpuyo ni Dina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like even in Lagindingan, right?
Yes.
Oh yes, yun.
Yeah.
And for me, it doesn't fully solve the problem, though it helps. But there's still other costs like sa load or data. And for some students like me, the allowance is still the same. So now I ask you guys, do you think it solves the problem?
I think it doesn't fully solves the problem. Like as what you have stated earlier, Sophia, no? That there are still other costs like sa load or data. Students or even teachers have to consider that because not everyone has a stable Wi-Fi connection at home. And like if you're going to trace back in during the COVID-19 pandemic again. Um, Online classes and modular learning was, was like the standard at time, and like during of there have been official reports that students or like many students and teachers couldn't attend those online classes because of low internet connectivity, device problems, and like what you call this, even the whole setup in general.
Yes.
So like if you relate it to now, it's like we're not proposing a new solution at all. Like it's like we're creating a problem, and like yeah, but it is actually a good idea. The intention was there, but I think it needs to be executed well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can relate to that. I mean, adding to what she said about having loads or like getting load, we also have to pay. So imagine this: Monday and Friday. So Monday is we have others have to pay for load, right?
Yes.
So 10 pesos, I think in some networks, I mean about 10 pesos, is that even enough? One gig.
No.
Like 1 gig, and then you have let's say 3 to 4 subjects a day, online class, 1 hour each class or something. Will 10 pesos suffice for that? Right? So I don't think it's also practical to have 99 pesos, 50 pesos just for one day online class, Monday, and then the next will be Friday for us. So I think that's quite difficult, you know?
Yes.
So yes, it's very hard these days. So let us go back. Software increase. Even small increases like a few pesos per ride seem small, but over a month, let's say it can accumulate. It can reach up to 100 pesos depending on the commute, right? Alright, so of course, it's not just students here that are experiencing this, but others also experience this, such as in Luzon, Visayas, because diba, other schools still have their classes. So some express their opinions on social media. So why not let's read some of the posts you have seen.
I think that can help.
Alright, so here we have with the username Jude Daniel Tinitiis na Biyahe, entitled Tinitiis na Biyahe. So may I have Mr. Elijah to read the content?
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, so Jude Daniel's post reads, Tinitiis na Biyahe. Arthur, a student from St. Louis College, currently grade 11, like us, the rising cost of fuel for him is more than just an economic headline. It is a thief of time. What was once a routine commute has transformed into a daily struggle for survival. Like you have mentioned earlier, that we're not just stressed, but we're also surviving. With transport lines cutting back on trips to save on costs, Arthur is left stranded, often reaching home as late as 11 p.m.
What?
The impact isn't just physical, it is also personal. The crisis has robbed him of quiet dinners and morning conversations with his family. So it's like a very big sacrifice, no? According to Arthur, napakadali lang mag-commute noon. Ngayon, kahit 4 p.m. ang uwian, sobrang hirap sumakay. Siksikan sa loob at hindi makagalaw. Despite the exhaustion and the mounting anxiety of the rush or battle, Arthur chooses to use his fatigue as fuel for his ambition. He views every crowded bus and sleepless night as a sacrifice for his future and his parents' hard work. However, Arthur's story serves as a loud wake-up call. His resilience is really, really inspiring, but it shouldn't be mandatory. It highlights a growing gap where the most vulnerable, which is our students, are forced to bear the weight of a failing system. Behind every centavo increase in gasoline is a student like Arthur, fighting to stay awake, stay hopeful, and stay on track toward a better life.
Oh, Arthur, I mean, of course I can relate to that, you know? Since I ride from home, I mean from USTP to go to home, I usually ride a bus. And sometimes it is very hard to go home because it is very crowded. And sometimes the bus isn't enough because some have got their trips. And then, of course, rush hour. So there are a lot of people wanting to go home. So there's gonna be a bit of very sardinas-like scenario there, very crowded. And of course, I'm not just the one who's affected, you know? Of course, the drivers are affected. But still, Arthur's story is quite something we can relate to
Yeah.
because of this fuel oil crisis that we're experiencing today. And personally, I do want to get out of this struggle because sometimes as a student commuter, it is very difficult, you know. So I guess that's it for my experience in that.
Yeah, and actually, our fellow Trail Voices, those watching right now, some of them are in grade 12. Like, their schedule is from 1 p.m. in the afternoon up to 6 or 7 p.m. 6 or 7 p.m. In the evening. So, like, if Arthur, who comes home, or like his class dismissal is on 4 p.m., what more to our fellow trailblazers that are coming home like more late than him? So, yeah, it's actually very concerning, and like it actually raises an issue on how they will come home every day. Like, imagine commuting every day and like you're not sure if you're going to get home on time, and like you have many tasks to do. Like, yeah, it's very, very stressful.
Like 6 to 9 p.m., 6 to 7
Yeah,
p.m.
college
College
students.
students.
Oh my gosh, I can just imagine the banda. Like banda ay bags. Bandas, you know. So, of course, we are all struggling right now. So, here we have another post on TikTok. So, let's view this video. So, I have found this earlier in the morning, and they were students who were like trying to find a way to like have a ride home. So let's see how they try to solve their problem. So here we have our video.
Okay. Let's
Sino Rosario? Rosario lang. Rosario. Masakay ko.
Unat ng mata, gising sa umaga. Unat ang kamay, bumangon na sa kama. Kung inaantok pa, lumulat-ulat ka. Kung wala pa rin, wag mo nang pilitin. Buksan na lang ang TV o sa radyo ay hanapin.
There are a lot. There's a pack.
And like, I think they're all students, right?
Yeah.
College students. The crowded
So
bus.
very crowded. You
Yeah.
know, very crowded, and they're all students. All right. So this is the caption. So this is a post by Bambiverse, and according to the creator, ang hirap na pong bumiyahe. Maski mga big bus, halos di na po nagsasakay dahil sa pagtaas ng presyo ng mga gasolina. Kaya nagbakasakali na lang po kami sa mga truck, L300, pick-up na makisabay. Luckily, may mga mabubuti pa rin po ang puso. So, what do you call that? Hitch? Okay. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Me again. Okay. Actually, this hitch culture, or sa to, for us in Bisaya, manghits because of the accent. It is actually not a new thing for me, because I have friends in Bukidnon who are currently studying in the academic paradise of the South, which is Central Mindanao University.
Wow.
And it is in Maramag, Bukidnon. And like, if you guys don't know, the road there is stretches far and wide. And like the campus is very spread out because the campus is very, very big. And like considering that there are not many people in Maramag, naturally there will be not much public transportation vehicles there. So it has been a practice for students there to hitch a ride on passing vehicles. Like it's not a new thing for them to hitch a ride because that has been essentially the culture there. But what is new to me is students who are facing the oil crisis right now is also practicing this. And like it is quite disheartening, and it's very sad to know that to them it is like finding a transportation to get to school is like a luxury, when in fact it should be a basic necessity, or like a necessity that they deserve. So like I think that's all that I can say for that post.
So like it's the bare minimum versus princess treatment. Of course, it's not a luxury. It's the bare minimum that we get to experience public transportation. So right now, I guess it's a bit difficult. Okay. So here, lastly, we have a post from John Ivan Toreros. So we have Miss Judy to read the post.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So, in the post of John Ivan Terranos, read that, umaabot na tayo sa puntong nakakahiya ng humingi sa magulang. Kasi, kita rin natin ang kanilang paghihirap sa crisis. Umaabot na tayo sa puntong naghahanap na lang ng pagkakakitaan ng mga estudyante natin. May mga sidelines, may mga nagtatayo ng maliit na business, may mga pumasok bilang mga part-time workers, at may mga sinakripisyo ang pagiging regular student para lamang makapagtustos. Lahat ng iyon ay hindi biro, at definitely, hindi din nila choice. Kasi kung lahat tayo, asensado, may kaya, at may stable na ekonomiya, sa tingin niyo ba may maaaray? May mapipilitang sa bahay nila kaysa araw-araw na bumiyahe sa gitna ng pagtaas ng pamasahe. At pagdating sa school, wala ng perang natitirang pagkain o snack man lang. Personally, kapag mag-online man yan, hindi naman ako kasali dahil nag-OJT lang ako. Araw-araw pa rin na makikipagsapalaran sa hamon ng lumalalang crisis. Pero may karapatan ba akong maghusga? O magsabing mas prefer nilang mag-online dahil tinatamad lang yan sila? Wala eh. Ang punto, kung hindi ka directly naapektuhan ng crisis, hayaan mo na lang na magsalita ang mga may mabibigat na pansanin sa buhay. Kasi totoo pong may naghihirap. And you need to go down to see them.
Yeah, you need to go down to see them.
Yeah.
So, I guess personally, I can relate to this, especially where it's said here that umaabot na tayo sa puntong nakakahiya ng humingi sa magulang. Kasi kita rin natin ang kanilang paghihirap sa crisis. So, I have observed when they used to ask me to, "Nak, when you go home from school, please check the prices if how much is it today?" So I can, see that of course they are concerned. Because if I am struggling with this crisis, what more sila? Because the money I spend is, of course, is not something I worked hard for. It's from my parents. So I could say that as a student, it really feels so not disappointing, but just ouch. Not disappointing at me, but a bit, you're like hurt from the fact that your parents are struggling and you want to help them. But the thing is, they're asking you to not help them because it's their responsibility. And yeah, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, same with you, Mom, Miss Liana. I can also relate to Ivan because whenever I ask an extra allowance to my mother, I feel guilty because I know I could have avoided it if I saved my money, if I tried everything to, cut my expenses on some things, like mga wants lang bitaw.
Right, so from all of the posts, of course, you have to ask the question, di ba? Relatable.
Yes.
It's not just, oh my gosh, OA, but no, we are experiencing this. This is the reality. So how about let's go to something personal. So another question, did you tamo Dan? So who here, okay, goes to school to USTP with just one ride?
Me.
Yeah, most of us.
Yeah.
So who here goes to school with more than one, like say 2 or 3 rides?
Me, kasi malayo yung bahay.
Me too, right? We're the
From where?
same.
From Samsimun.
Oh,
Sa
reveal.
Simon.
So as for me, yeah. So personally, I can start. So personally, I go like say 3
Three.
3 rides.
Yes.
So from Iponan.
No.
Iponan. So tricycle, 10 pesos. But I have heard from the drivers that the barangay is trying to issue a fare increase. So from 10 pesos to 12 pesos. So as I said earlier, every peso matters. So my water fare will have an effect. There will be effect. So next is jeep. So second ride. Before it was 20 pesos and now it's 22 or 25. Sometimes 27. Because I pay 50 pesos and then when I see the change, yeah, it's a bit, the change is, let's say, kulang, but I try not to tell the driver because I know they're also having a struggle with these prices. So that jeepney is just from to Agfa. So we're Iponan to Agfa. 25, 22, 27. Next, lastly, another jeep. Agfa to USTP. So, 10 pesos before, but sometimes I pay 12. So, yeah, it's about, I prepare around 50 or to 45 to 50 pesos in the morning. So, 50. Back and forth, I have to prepare 100 or like 90 pesos to 100 pesos. So, a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, 3 rides. So, I'm gonna try to find solutions because I have 200 pesos every day. And then, of course, if I save, like, so say, I set aside 90 pesos or 100 for fare, the rest of the 100 pesos is for my food. But I still have to save. So sometimes I cut down on snacks, lunch, and I just prefer to go home early just to eat. So what I've always thought since the start of the increase of fuel, I thought that I should try to find solutions because of course the money I'm not spending is not from my hard work, it's from my parents. So personally, while I am struggling, I am trying to learn. So that's it, I guess, for my personal experience.
Who's next? Judy?
I think it's sure. So, my routine is always the same, like balik-balik yun siya, and because even though it's only a 1 ride home, I usually try to avoid kanang muli bitaw kanang late na, around 5 to 6 p.m. because it's hard for me na makasakay ano nga time because it's crowded, especially if RD ako sakyan, very crowded yun. Time. And I usually try to avoid jeepneys like Bugo because if it's already late, their fare is around 25 pesos.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like even if you're going USTP to Hukman, it's still 25 pesos?
Yeah.
Mm.
Unlike RD, RC, kaya they charge only 15 pesos.
Mm.
Yeah, and also, I'd like to add, our group in PR1 conducted a study about how the fuel crisis affects working student.
Mm.
And they provide, provide ko with some of the data we gathered.
Okay.
And one of our respondents said that since the price of gasoline keeps increasing, the daily fare or like the transportation cost now also goes up. So of course, when fuel becomes expensive, fares become more expensive as well, diba? And sometimes fuel and transportation costs add more pressure to a student's allowance budget, because commuting is already costly, diba?
Yes.
And when fares increases, the price of other goods also tend to rise. Yeah. And since working students man daw siya, it becomes very difficult to budget his small amount of money. And even though once even a little is spent, he easily lose track of where his money is going. Yeah. That is why being wise and careful in budgeting your allowance is really important.
So that's very tight, no?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. One thing I have learned right now is salute the working students because they're using their own money to work hard.
Yeah.
I think si Kuya Turon, Kuya Ice
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also right now, Kuya Munchkin, Ate Munchkin, also Ate Mangga. Okay, so are there any more?
I think I can share. As I have mentioned earlier, I also traveled to USTP. It's only one ride, and I live in Barangay Carmen. So the jeepney that I ride is C2 or R2. That C2 jeepney, it's the end of its trip is like in Camp Evangelista. If you don't know, it's around what you call this? When you're going to Liceo, you're going up, and that's Camp Evangelista, and it travels there to USTP. So like it passes through the major malls in Gaisano, Ayala, and it circles back to what you call this, Veles, Divisoria, Cogon, Carmen, and back to Camp Evangelista. So the fare that I usually spend on that is 10 pesos. But since we all know that due to the fuel crisis or the oil crisis, it also affected commuters as well, because it's like it is quite unfair for those drivers that the prices of gasoline has increased but the fare is still the same. So like what Miss Sophia observed earlier, that I follow what the drivers that of the jeepneys that I ride, their signage just said that kanang gamay hangyo lang tugangan ang plite. So from 10 pesos, I pay 12 pesos or 15 pesos if makaluwag-luwag. So I have no issues, primary issues about that, because it is known that it is a problem for all. But one thing that I struggle with is the lack of jeepneys every morning. Because back then, I am waiting for a jeepney around 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. But it doesn't apply right now, because at around, like, let's say 6:20 a.m., I don't see any C2 jeepneys passing by our street because because of the rising oil prices, many jeepney operators decides dili na sila mamasada. Because there is instead of more profit, they're like losing more. You know that thought. So like with fewer jeepneys, there are times that I go to school late, and that doesn't it's like a domino effect bitaw to me as a student because I can I miss some classes or miss some discussions, and like it gives me the thought that this oil crisis is its effect is like a wave. It starts from here, like from the global, and the wave goes down eventually to the streets, our local streets here in the Philippines. And I think that's all for me.
In my experience but no, I usually take just one ride from USTP to my house and vice versa. But before, most of the time, I would take double rides, like from school to the malls because of laag ng mindset lagi. Then from the mall, going home. So, double rides now. Now, because the budget is tight, and sometimes to avoid 1, 2, 3, I walk straight from school to 𝗕𝘂𝗃𝗃𝗃 and dito ko manakayan instead. So, that's how I save money and survive this situation.
Wow.
Okay.
At least wala na 1, 2, 3 pa. Kaya avoid na lang.
Dili good.
So my experience is right. I've had 3 rides of San Simon to USTP Cagayan de Oro City. So ang my pocket is 200 pesos, and the only thing left is around 80 to 70 pesos. And I haven't been to USTP. I'm spending 75 pesos papunta pa lang yun hindi pa yun pabalik. Because of the driver fees are expensive. Ang mahal naman ng kinukuha nila sa kasi malayo eh. And the increase in fuel kasi kaya nila tinataas yung pamasahe kasi yung fuel is tumataas. So bali naaapektuhan yung mga namin pang gasto. So bali pang plate pamasahe ko lang yung baon ko kada araw. So wala na akong natitirang pangas na ganyan. Hindi ko na nabibili yung mga gusto ko, and
So, additionally, do you eat lunch or
yes,
no?
na may baon ako kasi dala.
Okay, that's very nice that you have a...
Kasi nagtitipid na ako eh.
Yeah, very good. It's actually a very, oh my gosh, survival mode.
Yes.
So, from all of the experiences that we have heard today, I can say that really the keyword from the start I said survival mode, stress. So I'm very glad that you bring lunch, no?
Yes, because
Yes.
we are USTP students.
Right. So instead of just spending, we have to save.
Yes.
Especially now, of course, we don't want to be a bit too heavy on our parents' pockets.
And I think I want to add something. Let's go back to the post earlier by John Ivan Toreros. So in his last line, what really struck me is that when he said, "Kasi totoo pong may naghihirap, and you need to go down to see them," because I have seen some posts circulating in social media. Some people who are more privileged than those in the lower class says that like that's just a temporary thing. Get over it. Like that thought is like so out of touch, and like it gives us the idea that they are not really aware of what's happening right now. That for them it's just a one-time thing. But for ordinary Filipinos, it is like losing a limb. It's like you're losing half your body or your arm, because like what Miss Lian have mentioned earlier, even though it's like 2 pesos, it accumulates over time. And like that accumulation is actually has a great impact, especially if you are an ordinary Filipino citizen. So we need to acknowledge that this oil crisis greatly affects all Filipinos, and you really need to go down to see them.
Right. So it's really hard right now. It's not even a bit, because it's very difficult right now.
Yeah.
So instead of like having a condescending tone towards those who are struggling, instead of like belittling them, I think it's also important to understand those people, right? Because I mean, everyone is struggling right now, you know? Very hard. Okay. So to wrap it up now. Fuel prices are rising. Of course, due to global factors like geopolitical tensions, as mentioned earlier, oil production decisions, and increased demand after COVID. But even if it's global, the impact is not equal. In the Philippines, because of import dependence and deregulating prices under RA 8479, students feel it more directly. As Elijah said earlier, other countries have their cushion, while I guess Philippines have the ground as the cushion. So the real question is, should students always adjust, or should systems adjust for students? Such a question to ponder on, right?
Yes.
So I guess that's all for today, and thanks for listening to
Trail
Voices.
Voices.
Thank you.